There's a kind of quiet chaos that brews beneath the surface of many relationships. Something subtle, something invisible to the outside world. It doesn't scream, it doesn't explode, but it creeps. It whispers in moments of silence. It lurks behind unanswered texts, delays in affection, changes in tone. It's insecurity, and it can sabotage even the deepest love if left unchecked. Let's get honest. Insecurity isn't just low self-esteem. It's not as simple as someone needing constant validation. It's deeper. It's woven into our emotional wiring. And when it shows up in relationships, it distorts reality. Suddenly, a partner's delayed reply feels like rejection. A change in behavior becomes proof of betrayal. Every small uncertainty morphs into a threat. You're no longer relating to your partner. You're defending yourself from the ghosts of your past. Psychology tells us that insecurity in relationships often doesn't start in the relationship. It's born long before it. It's the product of childhood wounds, past betrayals, emotional neglect, or inconsistent love. Maybe you grew up feeling like love had to be earned through perfection, performance, or silence. Maybe you learned early that affection was conditional, attention was inconsistent, or abandonment was always looming. So you adapted. You became hyper-aware, emotionally vigilant, always bracing for loss. And even as an adult, that pattern follows you. Here's the thing. Insecurity isn't irrational. It's miscalibrated protection. It's your nervous system trying to protect you from pain it remembers, even if your current partner isn't the one who caused it. That's why so many people struggle with the feeling of being unsafe, even in a safe relationship. Their body remembers what their mind tries to forget. And the moment something feels off, they don't respond. They react. This reaction shows up in different ways. Some people become clingy, needing reassurance constantly. Others become avoidant, pushing love away before it can leave them. Some test their partner's loyalty. Others suppress their feelings entirely to avoid rocking the boat. It all comes from the same root. I'm afraid you'll leave, so I'll either control you or convince myself I never needed you. Let that sink in. Insecurity tries to save you from pain by sabotaging the very thing you want most, connection. And that's where the spiral begins. You start overanalyzing texts, reading between the lines, interpreting silence as punishment. You make assumptions, accuse without clarity, or withdraw to protect your pride. You build stories in your mind, stories where your partner is pulling away, falling out of love, finding someone better. And the longer you believe those stories, the more your behavior starts to match them. You become colder, or more intense. You start seeking control, or disappear emotionally, all in the name of self-protection. But here's the brutal truth. The more insecure you feel, the more likely you are to behave in ways that cause the very thing you fear. That's the paradox. You fear abandonment, so you become controlling and push them away. You fear rejection, so you shut down and they feel unloved. You fear not being enough, so you overcompensate and lose your authenticity. Eventually, you're no longer present in the relationship. You're trapped in a loop between fear and defense, reacting not to your partner, but to your perception of danger. But here's where it gets real. Not all insecurity is toxic. In fact, a little insecurity is normal. It shows that you care. It's human to feel vulnerable when you love deeply. The problem is not the feeling, it's how we respond to the feeling. The goal isn't to eliminate insecurity entirely. It's to become conscious of it, to understand its origins, to pause when it speaks and ask, is this real, or is this a trigger? When you start noticing your patterns, when you track the difference between your partner's actions and your internal narrative, you begin to take your power back. You stop demanding your partner make you feel secure, and instead, you take responsibility for building your own emotional foundation. Psychologists call this earned security. It means that even if you didn't grow up with healthy attachment patterns, you can learn them. You can unlearn fear, rewire trust, rebuild your relationship with vulnerability. But it takes work. It takes sitting with the discomfort instead of reacting to it. It takes communicating your needs not as demands but as invitations. It takes being honest about your fears without weaponizing them. That's the difference between an insecure relationship and a secure one. Insecure relationships are full of mind games, silent treatments, testing, emotional blackmail. Secure ones are full of uncomfortable truths spoken gently, of reassurance given freely, of space held for one another's wounds without judgment. And here's something most people don't realize. Security isn't the absence of conflict. It's the presence of repair. It's two people who know how to find their way back to each other, who know how to say, "I felt scared when you pulled away," instead of accusing, who know how to say, "I need reassurance right now," instead of pretending not to care. That's what creates safety, not perfection, but presence. So, how do you move from insecurity to inner security? It starts by confronting your inner narratives. What are the stories you've carried into this relationship? Are you still trying to prove you're worthy? Are you still bracing for abandonment? Are you still repeating patterns you saw growing up? Write it out, name it, get honest with yourself, because what you don't name will run you. Next, start regulating your emotional reactions. When insecurity flares up, pause. Don't send the text. Don't make the assumption. Don't punish your partner for feelings they haven't even confirmed. Breathe. Feel the emotion, but don't become the emotion. Then, learn to communicate with clarity. Use I statements. Express needs without blame. Ask for reassurance without shame. Say, "I'm feeling disconnected lately and I'd love some quality time with you," instead of, "You never make time for me." One invites connection. The other triggers defense. Also, do the internal work. Build a relationship with yourself that doesn't depend entirely on how someone else sees you. The more you love yourself, the less you'll look to your partner to fill your emotional gaps. Self-trust is the antidote to insecurity. When you trust your own worth, you don't crumble when someone pulls away. You don't chase people who ghost you. You don't settle for crumbs of affection. You start choosing peace over panic. And finally, choose partners who meet you halfway. Insecurity heals in safe environments. You can't fix your attachment style if the person you're with keeps playing mind games. If they're inconsistent, manipulative, emotionally unavailable, it's not just your insecurity talking, that's your intuition. Don't gaslight yourself into believing your wounds are the only problem. Healing takes two. Choose someone who wants to do that with you, not someone who makes you question your sanity every week. Relationships aren't perfect, but they should feel like a place where your nervous system can rest. If you're always anxious, always confused, always afraid, it's not love. It's survival mode dressed as romance. Real love doesn't keep you guessing. It holds you in your mess and says, "I'm not going anywhere." And if you've never had that before, I want you to know, you're allowed to have it. You're worthy of it. But you'll only find it when you stop settling for the emotional roller coasters you've mistaken for passion. So, the truth about insecurity in relationships? It's not weakness. It's a signal, a mirror, a wound asking for attention. And if you answer that call with compassion instead of shame, you'll start building the kind of love that doesn't just feel good, it feels safe. And in a world full of broken connections, that kind of love, that's the revolution. Would you like an emotionally resonant outro for this now? If you've made it this far, chances are, something inside you is ready to shift. Maybe you're tired of overthinking every message. Maybe you're exhausted from chasing reassurance. Or maybe you're finally starting to see that the war you've been fighting in your relationship wasn't always with your partner. It was with your own fears. And that awareness, that's not weakness. That's the beginning of power. Because once you see the pattern, you can break it. Once you understand the wound, you can heal it. And when you do, you won't need constant proof that you're loved. You'll know it. You'll stop performing for security and start receiving it. Without begging, without shrinking, without trying to become someone you're not. Real love starts with emotional honesty. With knowing your triggers, naming your needs, and choosing connection over control. And if you're willing to keep showing up for that version of love, messy, vulnerable, unfiltered, you'll stop feeling like you're too much and start feeling like you're finally enough. So if this message resonated with you, don't let it end here. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Hit that like button, subscribe for more soul-level conversations like this, and let's build a space where emotional depth isn't scary. It's celebrated. Because the truth is, The more we understand ourselves, the more love has room to stay. And that changes everything.